Hey guys, how's it going? This is Mike from M&R Automotive. Today we have a 2023 and up Ford Superduty, and we're installing a 30-inch curved light bar. First thing we're going to do is remove the 10 push pins that are holding this inner plastic trim piece. So there's 5 on the bottom and 5 on top. Now let's go ahead and remove the 5 that are on top. I'm just going to get my pry tool here. So you got to take the head out, and then there's a plate. So back. Total of 5. Okay, so now that we got the 10 push pins, we can just pull on this trim piece and set that aside. So with the kit, you do get a driver and a passenger side mount. Did weld a nut in the back, so that way the bolt, when you're threading it through the factory opening, it can tighten on itself. It makes the installation a lot easier. But we're going to remove them for the install. So let's go ahead and install the passenger side first. So what we're going to do, we're going to slide this bracket behind the bumper, and it's going to stay like this, and then we're going to tighten this nut. So I'm going to show you how I do it. I slide it in, I tilt it down. There's one hole here that does not have a bolt. I'm gonna go ahead and use supplied hardware. It's hard to get the camera in there, so I want to hand thread it first, and I want to show you where it's connected. So if you want to take a look here, this is the bolt that we use with a washer. We are going to leave this just finger tight because I like to put the light bar in between and then tighten this towards the end. So let's do the same thing on the driver's side. I'm going to go ahead and remove the bolt from the bracket. I'm going to slide the bracket. And I am going to align it with this bolt hole. Go ahead and thread the supplied bolt. Just to clarify, there is no bolts that we're removing. There is a pre-made hole in the frame of the front end that you can thread the bolt through, and then on the back end it tightens with the welded nut. Now that we've installed the M&R mounts, let's go ahead and install the slim curved 30-inch light bar. Feed the wires right behind it, because we're going to want to feed them up the grill towards the headlight. And then what I'm going to do is kind of feed it in little intervals behind the grill. If you want to, you could remove the grill for this install, but it's not necessary. And we're going to feed it up like this. Cool. I'm actually going to throw a zip tie right here, so that way the wires nicely tucked. Now that we got the wiring in the engine bay, let's go ahead and tighten these bolts. There's 2 bolts that we're going to tighten, a light bar to the mount, and also the ones that hold the mount to the truck. Looks awesome. Notice how it's nicely curved and goes really well with the front grille. Now that we've installed the light bar, let's go ahead and look at the wiring. The wiring harness for the light bar comes with 3 wires. You have the black wire, which is the ground. You have the red wire, which is the positive wire for a powerful white light, and you also have a white wire, which is the positive wire for the amp or DRL function. Ultimately, you'll need 2 switches, 2 power sources to control this light bar. If you purchase a single function light bar, you will not have an additional wire. It will just have a red and black, which is the positive and the negative for the light bar. If your vehicle does not come with auxiliary switches, such as the one we have here, we're going to connect the light bar using the M&R Wireless Pro Series wiring harness. Let me show you what's in the box. Instruction manual. We have various stickers. Billet aluminum controller module. You get the actual wireless module. Fuses, the main power cable, some zip ties to mount the module, and you get that magnetic pad. What you're going to do inside the cab, you're going to find a spot to stick this 3M piece, and that way the magnet can stick to it. Alright, so let's go ahead and take this box apart so that way we can see how the fuses will look like and connect the positive, the negative, and our accessories. So now we're going to remove the cover. So we have the positive battery terminal. We have a ground here. What we're going to do, first thing I like to do is the positive and the ground. So where it says battery plus, that's the positive, and then there's also a small ground that we're connecting to this module, and that's just in order to make it function. Your accessories will have their own grounds, and you're going to ground it on either the negative terminal on the vehicle or on the chassis of the vehicle. So now you have the terminals, and then once we get this connected to the truck, we'll go ahead and connect the light bar wires to it. Okay, so that's the positive and the ground. One more thing, on the positive terminal, there is a master fuse, and I am going to install it. Okay, so open the box. So this is the fuse holder. I'm going to loosen the terminals, and we're going to slide these connections as well as a master fuse. So this fuse is going to protect the system if there's some kind of a short, and it's more of a safety feature. So we're going to connect the 2 wires in between the washer. So we're installing it like this, and we're going to tighten it using the supplied hardware. So it's just an inline safety precaution. So that way, if the positive wire ever touches the ground, it's not going to spark or create any type of a dangerous situation. It'll just pop the fuse and the whole system comes on. Alright, so now that we have the fuse terminal connected, I'll go ahead and put the cover back on. Good, and we're ready to connect this to the truck. Alright, so now that we have the module here, I want to connect the positive and the negative to the battery. Use this bolt to slide our positive terminal of the harness. Okay, and then we're going to use the ground to the negative of the battery. You can see there's a green button that lights up. That means it has proper power. Now we have to connect the light bar to the corresponding circuit. So you have, 30, 30, 30. You have 2 20s and you have 3 10s. So what I'm going to do for the light bar that we're going to connect, I'm going to connect the red wire and the white wire to the harness, but the black wire, which is the ground, we're going to connect that to the negative battery of the terminal. So what I want to do, I want to actually take it out of the harness, so that way we can extend the wire a little bit. So on the black wire, that's going to be the ground. I'm going to install an eyelid, and we're actually going to ground it to the battery as well. I probably should have done it when I was grounding the actual unit. You can use the same bolt. Now the 2 wires, I'm going to choose what circuits I want them to be connected to. Yeah, I'm going to put the white light on switch number 1, and it's going to have a 30 amp fuse for how I like it on the remote. You just can't go under what the fuse rating is, you can go over. And then the amber DRL, so I'm going to go on number 5. And now we can test it out. So let's go ahead and test it. On the remote, I'm going to hit the power button, and I'm going to hit switch number 1. That's the powerful white light. And then I'm going to hit switch number 5. That's the amber DRL. This kit is amazing. It fits the contour of the grille. It's very tucked close to the bumper, and I know you guys are going to love it. Thank you guys for watching.